Okay guys, so here is my rundown of Psvr2 with a motion simulator, the Dofreality H2. And I've had it sort of a week now. I've got it all set up and I've gone through a whole host of emotions, and I just want to run you through everything. But first of all, ignore the motion, ignore everything. I'm going to run you down the actual rig itself. Now obviously I got this for around £2,000. That was due to the Black Friday sales. I believe it goes up to £3,000 around all in, with sort of shipping charges and everything outside of Black Friday. And I'm just going to sort of run you down just basically through the rig. Now this is, like I say, something to take in consideration is if you're going to upgrade your rig, do a bit of man math here and take some money out of this. And what I mean by that is, for a good rig, you know, you're going to be paying about 500 quid, you know, for a decent sturdy rig. The rig I had last time, the Outshine Gaming Downforce, was a good rig, but it had lots of flex in it. It had lots of flex in the wheel, had lots of flex in the pedal tray. So like, I've got a low tail brake, you put a lot of pressure on that. Now what surprises me about this rig, ignore the motion, ignore everything, it's really sturdy. Now obviously it's going to wobble, but it wobbles as a unit. You get no flex really. If you push that forward, the seat moves forward. If you brake too hard, the seat moves forward. So there's no flexing, not a great deal anyway. I mean obviously it's got a bit, but versus every other rig that I've had, it's really solid. It's really nice, and some of the extras that come with it, like this little shifter mount now, the positioning is great. It feels good, it feels really nice to sit in and really nice to play in, far nicer than the rig that I had last time. And another great thing here is this whole bit here, you can mount it the other way round. So if you just take the seat off, take these screws out, you can flip that pedal tray over so it sits up like this, and you can actually race in the formula position. So normally really you would either buy one there's very few that do the formula position, but you buy a rig that can be made to go in the formula position. And this one you can just flip that bar around, you have the pedals up high, you can knock the seat back, so you're sort of racing as a Formula 1 driver. Let me just pop the seat back here. And you put your pedals up high, your seat would be sort of curved back, and you race like the formula position like that. So yeah, on the whole, the rig itself, I'm really happy with it. It's a lovely rig. It's really good. Really, the build quality is impressive, and it looks quite nice actually. It sits quite out of the way. One thing to remember is that money didn't get me a seat. I took this off of my old rig and installed it on here. So yeah, you've got to bear that in mind. But you can, if you keep your eye out, you can pick up cheap bucket seats. And this, you can get these sort of seat, spring-loaded bucket seat mounts for around £200. Yeah, but let's show you it in motion. And give you a little demonstration, then after the demonstration I'll give you a rundown of my thoughts. So on storage wise, I've got a very understanding wife who lets me keep this in the living room, so if space is an issue, it's pretty not bad. I always say to anyone, VR, one of the off-putting things, especially if you've got a rig, is pulling it in and out over and over again. Can be a bit of a chore. So I keep everything hardwired. I've got nice little cable solutions going on around the outside. Obviously this needs a bit more space than being up against the wall to use it. So to use it, I just pull it out like so. And down there you've got the sort of unit that is powered by. So I'm just going to get it out. And I will get it set up, so I'll probably speed this up, but sort of getting it set up just requires turning the laptop on, booting up SimHub, and then making sure that everything is clear from underneath of it, so it will nice and movement. I'll turn it on, and we'll do a little boot up with a double beep. There's no need for me to make that noise at all. Let me just show you, if you get start test, I'll do the test here.
literally just move it around. It's literally quite scary when it moves so slowly. You can do forward, back, and blah blah blah. So left and right. But yeah, so less is definitely more when you're using it. And let me just make sure I'm on Sim Racing Studios at the moment, and I really keep flipping between which I prefer. Let's give you a demonstration. Probably going to take it on a rally track just because get that background music off. But yeah, it feels fantastic. You really feel like you're in a rally car. It's absolutely immersive as hell. It just adds that little bit, that flatness, and makes it three-dimensional. And my oh my, it's fucking fantastic. Well, I think I've got traction control on it. I have. Oh no. So good, so good. It's just so much fun. So much fun. Oh fuck! You really feel the impacts, and so there's another thing that the sort of Gran Turismo 7 boundary. I know it's gone off a couple of times now, but really it isn't a problem at all that often. It's sometimes better because it puts you at the right angle the car should be at. But it really is amazing how much more immersive it is with it, and it's not something that you feel straight away. Like I had a lot of ups and downs when I started using it, but once you get it dialed in, it's unbelievable fun. Just for a laugh, let's crash into a wall and but yeah, I mean, I genuinely feel that I've just booted Colin McRae's 1998 Impreza around a rally track. Woo! So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. I've fallen massively in love with it. I couldn't envisage racing without it. And I tell you now, so I think I've explained this already, but I always wanted more with sim racing, so I got the VR headset. I got the wheel to complement the VR headset, I think back in the PS1 days, and I loved it. And I was like, this is so good. Playing games like Dirt Rally on Psvr2 was, I mean, I love rally is my passion. I love the rally games. So yeah, I loved it then, and I added the butt kicker back then in the sort of PSVR1 days. And that is, if you don't know what a butt kicker is, that adds sort of tactile transducing. It takes all of the low inputs from telemetry data through apps like Sim Racing Studio and SimHub. Now, it doesn't just change the sound. The game will send data to this, and you can change whether you want gear shifts or road vibrations or anything coming out of this place, and it adds so much. But then I got that, and then I found myself always wanting more. I was like, how can I get more? So then I got these, which are wind simulators, and once again, through data sent from Gran Turismo 7, from my little laptop there. You don't need a fancy laptop. I've got nowhere near a game PC. I don't think you could run Doom on that thing. It's crap. But I've got these wind simulators, and these will blow wind at you depending on the speed you're travelling at. The faster you go, the more wind you go. Then it's got a curving effect where when you take corners, it will come out of one, not the other. And then when you slow down, it will slow down. And it's really good, and it builds this picture, but the picture never felt complete. And then I got this, and I set this all up. I plugged it in at first, and at first it's a lot of money. It is a huge amount of money, right? And this is where the problem and the caveats come. Is it worth the money you pay? In the world of motion rigs, this is extremely cheap, and it does it well. I mean, I've not tried other rigs, but I'm sat in this. In it, you know, a motion rig can cost sort of between £5,000 and £10,000, and that sometimes is for a lower budget one. The rig itself is great, but the actual motion itself works really well, and I would say in the market it absolutely is. The caveat is, if you're just buying it for PSVR, be mindful it's just going to work for Gran Turismo 7 if you want VR. Gran Turismo 7 and Epic Roller Coaster are the two VR compatible games. You can use flat screen games. I don't race without VR headset on because I just can't. I find it so boring. So yeah, I think F1 games support it and a couple of other things. So just for PSVR, it's quite an insane purchase. If you've got a PC, however, I mean, using this thing with things like Microsoft Flight Simulator, all the Dirt Rally games, because everything on PC has telemetry data run direct through your PC to this. Wow, yeah, I mean, it's great value. I know that's a hard thing to say for such a luxury purchase item, but I cannot stress, do your research on motion rigs and you will find they cost an absolute bomb. So if you're always finding yourself trying to build that bigger picture, and you definitely, you're thinking, I need to upgrade my rig, I'd like to upgrade my rig. Like I say, do the man math. Tell your wife, your partner, or whoever, your boyfriend, whatever, right? Oh yeah, well, I'm going to spend that £500 on a new rig, so it's probably only £1,500. It's the sort of math that gets you in trouble, and the sort of math that got me where I am. But I love it. I love it. Is Gran Turismo enough? No. And I can't stand Sony for their lack of support for such a great headset, because if we had things like F1 2024 or in VR, and the Dirt Rally games in VR, I'd be over the moon. I've got everything crossed that Ace of the Thunder has UDP telemetry data, but as of yet, no flight simulators ever on console supported UDP telemetry data yet. So the chances of that are very slim, but I love it. I love it so much. It's so good, and yes, for a hefty price but a low price in comparison to other rigs, you can do motion and it feels fantastic, and it adds a lot. But remember, less is more, and you do have to consider other costs like Sim Racing Studios, $99 a year. I don't know what that converted to pounds in the end, but that's $99 a year. But that's the full. That's, I think, for far less you can get just motion and shakers, but I've obviously got the wind, and I've got a pedal rumble kit here which rumbles my pedals. So just a quick walk down of other things I've got. I've got these pedal rumbles here, so when I lose traction I can feel it in my brake pedal. So if my brakes are locking up, I will feel it in my brake pedal as the pedal will begin to rumble, and the same as if I get too much acceleration and I lose the front tyres, I will feel the pedals once I lose traction vibrating. But yeah, you have to buy a license. So that is, you can do SimHub. Now there are two softwares. There are SimHub and Sim Racing Studio. SimHub, I believe, is £30 forever or something, a very low price, and that's pretty much everything included, because everything else like wind and bass shakers you can do for free on SimHub. But if you do get SimHub, you can sort of buy them a coffee. I'd recommend buying them a very pricey coffee because it's great software. SimHub for motion is very new, it's in infancy. Feels infinitely better. I did think it felt better. It's a lot smoother. But I've switched back to Sim Racing Studios because it's probably user error and probably the fact that I haven't set it up properly, but I can't seem to get impacts on Sim Racing SimHub. Now, I don't plan on crashing a lot or crashing all the time, but it just adds a little bit of inertia when you hit that wall, and you really do feel it. And it always brings a smile to your face still now after like lots and lots of times of using this rig. So yeah, sorry if I'm making you sort of stare at motion rigs on the internet and go down this rabbit hole, but it does feel like a step to completion, because you're not sat there wondering, like I genuinely sit here now and I'm like, I don't really think I need any more on this rig. I'm dead happy with it. I think it'll be minor changes if anything, but I'll upgrade to it, and that'll be it. That'll be me done. I'm dead happy. Keep this set up. I might get the odd occasional wheel from Thrustmaster, but even this is a TTG2. I've tried direct drives and I do like them a lot, but I feel that they far outweigh what they add personally. I know loads of people swear by them and loads of people disagree with us, don't massively. Me personally, what they add and what they cost. The Thrustmaster series, I moved from Logitech to Thrustmaster. Logitech was like very notchy. The T300, which was sort of the slightly level up that I moved to originally from the Logitech wheel, it's night and day on how smooth it is, and this is just sort of a more improved version of the TTG2. This is very expensive if you buy it brand new. I think it's around £800. I got it very cheap, just the wheelbase alone, for around £300 on Facebook Marketplace. And I love it because this has also got transducers built into it. It's got a GT mode, but it only works in GT, but it's got vibrations sort of triggering through the whole system. But yeah, it's great. It's costly, but it's great, and it's very limited on PSVR too. If you've got a PC, I mean, this makes me want a PC, but after buying this, there's no chance for a PC anytime soon. But I hope that answers all your questions, and if you do want to just ask me anything else, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers guys.